Okay, the YouTube Zoom is gonna start. Well, last time what we looked at was how to send data from forms to files. Now we want to see how to upload or deploy PHP apps on servers. The commonest way of deploying is simple. Let me get where to write. I'll try to use this tool over here. And yeah, I've decided to use Ashnode as to walk you through. Just okay, create new draft. So, okay. So what is deployment? I consider deployment as a process, the process of publishing apps for public access. Okay, so, and why should it be done? Why should you deploy your apps? For the target group to access your app for different reasons, such as beta testing, service, stroke product consumption. Let's assume you have built a product and this product is for people to share photos. So you would deploy your app so that other people can access this app and be able to do what? And be able to use the service or to consume the service. So how do you, excuse me, how do you deploy PHP apps? The easiest way, let me use the commonest method is to upload PHP files to shared hosting services that have or that provide access to cPanel, Plesk, and the other user-friendly control panels. You can also use FTP programs like FileZilla, and if you are familiar with the terminal, you can use SSH command to upload files, PHP files from the developer machine to the server but this means, but you can only do this if the service provider or hosting or cloud provider gives you the right permissions to do so. So we are going to look at, basically, we are going to look at how to upload. We shall look at how to upload PHP files via Plesk. Okay, via Plesk. So let's do that. Just a moment. I need you to see these to be visible. Okay, and how do we start? We log in first. Log in to your Plesk account. And how do you get it? Of course, to get the Plesk account, you need to find a hosting provider. Like there are many. There's GoDaddy, there is HostGator, there is Namecheap, so on and so forth. So what you want to do is, for me, I have a host provider on a certain platform. Actually, I'm going to share the interface. So I have a host provider in cloud space, and they happen to do what? To give me access where I host my website. And then that's the account I'm gonna show you. Just a moment. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. Actually, I'm getting a warning that my internet is not stable. If my sound is breaking, pardon me. I hope it will get better. I'm trying to find my account details. All right, so here we go. So on Plesk, what is gonna happen is that when you log in, of course, logging in is simple. You just provide your username and password, and then you have an interface like this, something like this. So what you're gonna do, you see I have quite a lot of apps, small apps. Some of them were for testing. And what you might want to do is, if you already have a website in your Plesk account, you might want to add a domain or a subdomain. Or to make it simple, you may even create a subfolder. So we are going to look at how to create a subfolder. And how to create a subfolder, we shall just, under this domain, davidovug.com, we shall click the file manager. You can see that the interface is really user-friendly. And these are the different, these are the different directories or folders in my web root. There's something we call a web root, is where you upload your files so that they can be your web files, so that they can be accessed all over the world. So my website is built in WordPress. That's why you see all of these. But what we are going to do is to click at the top here where there is the plus sign, And once we click, we have these options: upload the file, upload directory, import file via URL, create file, create directory. So we are going to start with creating directory, and we are going to call this directory first PHP app. Okay. Once we click and we say okay, then we can look for that among these directories, and it's right here. So right here, I can click this directory, and the moment I click that directory, I can go over here to upload the file or directory. So what I'm going to do is to upload the file. Once I click there, a pop-up window will open. This will be the same for people using Windows and Mac, and it will be the same for people using Ubuntu. So I'll locate where MAMP is, and MAMP is here. Then I'll go to htdocs, PHP mentorship. I want to upload the app we did last week, which was week 1, and it's on Saturday, I think. So we had all of these files in that. So it means we need to upload all of these files. I can click one by one and say open, then it will start to upload. You see, the file was very small, so the upload is complete. I can click upload file again, and this time around, I'm gonna use the shift key. I'll select one of the files, then I'll press the shift key on my keyboard and click the last file to select more than one file. And then I'll click open, so all of them will load. Now, it gets that simple. So because we've uploaded this file to my domains subfolder, that means we can go to we can open up a new tab and we can enter dev.ug. Then we put a / first PHP. So there's an hyphen. Yes, I usually add hyphens for search engine safety and making my URLs more readable. So first PHP app, then enter, and that's it. So everything that is in the other file that we added in the other file of student is showing up, because when we uploaded that file here in this folder, the student file, if we open it, we find that it has this, okay? So we can even try to add someone else. For example, I'll try and add Ronald, then last name Bazira. Then I'll save student, and I'm being told that student was added. So when I click back, the student is here. So if I go in here, the student is here. So it gets pretty easy for you to host PHP apps if you have web servers already set up. So if someone gives you a control panel like Plesk, like cPanel, that means a web server which has all the necessary tools to run PHP have been set up. However, sometimes you don't have such servers. You might say, for example, you might be on platforms like DigitalOcean, okay, where they give you droplets. And, you know, if you log in, I'll try to log into DigitalOcean. Give me a moment. So on platforms like these ones, you have droplets, you know, you don't have a simple thing as Plesk, but you can install Plesk on them. So if you click like droplets, then create a droplet, what will happen is that you can get, of course, you'll be asked where you want the droplet to be. And I think The closest place here is London. I'm not really sure, but I think it's closer than the rest. Then here you choose your operating system. And after choosing the operating system, you choose what CPU you want. It depends on how much money you have. So if you have some good money, you can choose general purpose, CPU optimized, memory, so on and so forth. But you can select the basic, and here select the regular SSD. If you select the regular SSD, you're gonna get a some cheaper options like this one. Once you select it, around here, you need to set up the authentication method. If you are familiar with the SSH key, you go with it. If you are not, you go with the password, which you can generate using any tool you want. So for example, I can add something like 1, 2, and capital A, and so the password I've set up is this. I'm showing it to you because I know if I continue with this, I'll destroy the droplet anyway. Okay, so, and they're telling me cannot end with a number or special characters. So I'll add a W, please store your password securely. They are giving me all of that advice. I'll copy away the password, and then I will click. You can look at these recommended options if you want. Here they are showing you add improved metrics, monitoring alerts for free, going to production, enable backups for this price, 1.20, add a worry-free managed database. So if you want things like MySQL, Postgres to be set up for you, this is the amount you can add. But if you are tight on budget, you have to learn how to set it up by yourself. You go down here, set a host name. You can leave it to this if you want a much better. For example, you can say Ubuntu, you can say Plesk on Ubuntu, or let me actually, since you've looked at Plesk, I'll say cPanel on Ubuntu. And I know that, I doubt whether cPanel can fit on the, I doubt whether cPanel can fit on this whatever, but let's continue. So after that, what happens is that you can now click create. But if we click create, this is going to be like a normal computer, which does not have cPanel, does not have web servers, so on and so forth. And it can get really intimidating and complicated if you don't know. So what you can do is to go to the marketplace. And I understand that there are many other server providers who have, some things like this, even if they are something like Countable, which is cheaper than DigitalOcean has. So here you see, when you go to the marketplace, they have a lot of things. They can give you an instance which has Docker already installed, WordPress, cPanel, and WHM, or a LAMP server. A LAMP server is the one which has a web server, but does not have anything like a control panel. You can also get the one which has Plesk, but of course, Plesk and cPanel are paid for. So after installing, you'll be required to pay some money to Plesk. But for now, I'll go to the LAMP. I'll click it. And then since our app does not have databases, so on and so forth, I'll just go to this one and kindly mute yourself, someone. So LAMP, and then I will click create. So a few minutes will be taken for this to be created. I don't know why it's been, okay, yeah, it's been added to my first project. So the project is not the server. On your project, you can add a lot of things. You can see I have a project here which has Upright, which is a very good database. no SQL database. So it is taking its time, but once it gets done, we shall know. Let me see where. It has to give us some details that, of course, we know that the password already. So for such a thing, it has installed actually. So we can copy this IP address and take it to the browser. And you can see what it says. Please log into your droplet with the SSH to configure the LAMP installation. See the LAMP one quick guide for details, or do whatever ask. So this shows that the thing has been installed. If you click the quick guide, they will show you what you have to do, but we are only interested in a few things. Like they are showing us here that in addition to the package installation, the one click also enables this. So it sets the MySQL root password. So that means that the MySQL is already installed. It sets up the Debian. We don't need all of that. And after you do that, you can. So let's try and go to the whatever. Let's try to go in the terminal and try to access this. So I'll go over. Actually, instead of going to the terminal, we can go here on these 3 dots and click Access Console. If you do this, there's one option. You have the option of not providing the password when you are accessing this instance via the terminal. But the problem with it is that you won't be, oh, it has asked us for the password. Okay, let me get it over here. But it will be very hard for you to select files and upload them. Okay, so, but let me just put the password there and you see, ooh, really? That's wrong. So, okay, I will. That's wrong. So I'll put the root is the default username. I'll paste the password. And yeah, so we've logged into the terminal, but here you are not going to be able to to transfer your files to this. So what we shall need to do is to go to our computers and get the terminal. Okay. The terminal on Windows, you use the command prompt or PowerShell, whatever you want. And then, so we shall do SSH and put a username. So SSH is a command. If you don't know how to use SSH, this tutorial does not cover that. So you can go read about it. We shall do SSH, then we shall go back. I think we've already, have we? Okay, let's go back here and pick the IP address of the instance where it's here. I'll click copy, and then I'll go back to the terminal and paste it. So once I do that, enter, and they ask me if I want a key to be added to my computer. I'll write yes, and the key has been added. Now they're asking me for the password. You remember the password we set? You paste, and yeah, we've logged in. So after logging in to the moment you see this welcome message, just to know that you've logged into the server. And if you see this, you've logged in. So we can go back to here, to DigitalOcean's quick guide, and we can see something here. They are saying that the web root is /var www.html. That's the web root. You can get information about the installation by logging into droplet and running PHP -i. So if we run PHP -i, this one will even tell us whether our server has PHP or not. And indeed, since that command has been executed, PHP is here with a lot of modules already enabled, but that's beyond the scope of this session. So don't worry about what you are seeing here. It was just to show us that everything they are instructing us is working. Now, I'll clear the screen, and what we can say is that we can cd, this is another command, to www, then HTML, and see what's there by doing ls. And this file here, we can do cart. This is another command that is for displaying the content in a file. So this content over here is the content we saw when we went to the server, okay? When we went to the server address here, when we visited, where was it? Okay, I'll put the IP address. Let me get the IP address of the server and we see it again. If I visit the IP address of the server, this is what happens. So this information here is the same information you are seeing here, only that it has a lot of, a lot of attributes, but you can see some words here. Okay, please. And they are in H1, you can see here, and they correlate, they correspond with the words we see here. So that means that if we don't want to host many domains on our server, what we shall do is to overwrite that file. For example, this file is index. I can just, let me think about it. I can write something like nano. Nano is an editor, just like VS Code. Nano index.html. And it will give me this file for editing. So I can simply remove all of, just a moment, let me see. Yeah, I want to remove a few, and then we see that we can overwrite it or change it. So put the cursor here. Oh, just. So excuse me, in Nano, I don't know how to select all of the text at once. I would have selected all of it and then I would delete that way, but I've forgotten how to do that. So let me take my time. Maybe you can grab a cup of coffee. Otherwise, you can stick around. It won't take long. Okay. Yeah, so this method we are seeing is how to upload PHP applications on a bare server, like when you don't have like the liberty to access Plesk, the liberty to access, how do we call it, control panel, and many others. Because when you are building apps, especially for your startup or yourself, you may not have a tight budget, or you may want a non-shared server for your app. Now, when you want a non-shared, you know what I'm gonna do? Instead of doing this, because it's taking a lot of time, I'll exit out of here first. And I'll exit out of here and just create, I'll delete this file by doing this. And then I'll create a new file by doing nano index.html, index.html. Or since we want PHP, I'll do index.php and do that. Then I'll write a small PHP file command, which is PHP info. Now, if I'm to get back on why I'm showing you this, it's because I know that at a certain moment in life, in time, you may want to host your PHP application on its own VPS, and that means you may not have access to things like cPanel due to budget, because remember, cPanel needs some good resources on the server, which could be a minimum of 4 GB of RAM. And that means about hundreds of dollars per month for a server. So for a VPS or for a droplet or a node or whatever you may want to call it. So that's why I'm showing you this. Now, let's go to, I've created this file, added information in it. And if you want to see the information, we shall write the cat command, then write index.php. And we can see that what's in it is this. It's a command, it's a function that shows us PHP information on the server. So if I go back here and reload, yeah, PHP works. So that function I entered shows details about PHP that has been installed on your server. And the PHP on this server is this version, which is really, really, really good. So now let's go to how can we upload the files from our computer to here, to this remote server. Okay. Give me a moment. So just a moment, I'd like to go here. So I'll put upload to droplet. I can even set to VPS via SSH. So how to upload a backup using SSH? I think via over SSH, I think this is the one I want. So there is a command called SCP. There is rsync. This is a very, very good command. And this, you can see they're saying this is a legacy duplicated, but also doesn't mean that the server might have this command. So what we shall do, let's see, here they say we can do this, okay? Here is a generic syntax that copies the file from the home directory of the user on the remote system to the current directory of your locally logged in system. So this one would literally, I think this one would basically download to our computer, but I want to take from my computer to online. So what we may do from your local machine, yeah, this is the one we want. So the one we want has, we write the SCP command, then the file name we want to upload, then we enter the username on the remote server, that's the droplet, the IP address, but the IP address can also be replaced by the domain name, and the path where we want these things to go. So what that would mean is that I would have to get note of this, okay? I would have to get note of this path, or I can even copy all of this, okay? Copy all of that. And then in my terminal, if you have a Mac, you can open up a new terminal tab. Otherwise, you can also open up a new terminal window. Now we will write this command. Let me just enter it to see if it's on my Mac. And yeah, it's on my Mac the moment it returns this. So that means I can use it. And what they said is that we write it, then we write the file name. Now, where is the file name? The file name is located somewhere, and it's better for me to navigate to that location. And how I get to know that location is simple. I can see here, CD applications. I can list and I see if, really, this is not the one I want. So what I can do is, I think I can go to CD home, then that, excuse me. Okay, I can find it from, let me go to here. So you see that it's at this hard drive, then applications. So I would have to know how to access the hard drive on my Mac. But also, I think the best way for me to do it, to discover first, is by me being on VS Code. And on VS Code here, I can type pwd, that says print current working directory. And then, let me see here. No, I need another VS terminal. Just a moment. Where is it? Okay, so what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna go here and open this folder. Then we shall get the terminal faster. Oh no, back. PHP mentorship level 2, week 1, and Saturday. Yeah, there. So I'll say open. And once it opens, I'll open the terminal of VS Code, okay? And it's as simple as that. You can go here where terminal, new terminal, or you can type that shortcut you see. Then what is gonna happen is that I can type pwd to show me the working directory, and this is the working directory. So if I want to pick any file, we are going to try this. I can just type SCP, then I can, because I'm in the working directory here of this, it won't be hard. I'll just type index.php. Then I would write the username, which is root. No, remember I copied something before. So I'll paste it, and I'll only need to replace this with the IP address. But I've not yet grasped the IP address. So I'll go over here and copy it. Then I'll paste. I need to remove a few things like that / and this. So what this means is that we are instructing this command, okay, to copy this file, which is on our computer, to a computer on the internet, which is identified by this IP address. And in that computer, we are going to log in using the user root. And on that computer, we shall go to the path, this path, which is var/www/html. Okay. And we are uploading one file, okay, of all of these 4 files. So I expect that the moment I press enter, it has to ask me for the password. You see that it is asking me for the password of root at this computer. So let me get the password and we paste it over. Oh, I paste it over. Of course, you won't see it, but it will be pasted. Then enter. And yeah, the file has been uploaded that fast from our computer to the server. So if I go to the browser window here and I refresh, we don't expect to see this. You see, this is what we see. And what we see, students in the database, there's nothing, simply because we do not have, we've not uploaded all the files. In fact, if I try to write something, we shall also get a whatever, an error. So if I click this, you see that it says that URL is not found because we've not yet uploaded this file here. So what we are going to do now is to go back to the VS Code terminal here. We shall press the up arrow key on your keyboard and write different file name like return students, that, and then enter. And it asks you for the password, enter. Of course, there should be a command for uploading all the files at once, but it's not, I'm not yet familiar with it. And because we have fewer files, I'm not really afraid. So I'll type of the time. So I'll type student to file.php, enter, paste the password. It has worked. And then if I do the same thing on the students, it has to work, but I'm gonna leave out the students for now. And then I'll come over, go back here, I'll reload, and it says cannot open the file. It cannot open the file. Remember those error messages we put in our file, simply because I've not uploaded the student's file. However, if I try to type the name, what will happen? If I try to add a student, you see, it says student has been added. Do you know why? The reason it says student has been added, yet we don't have the student's file here on the server, it's because in PHP, we use the code for opening file and in append mode. So that creates the file if it does not exist, and then it adds whatever you want. So it has added a student, and you can see we only have one student. We don't have the students we have on our local computer. In fact, here it shows you number of students, 1. So if we say Peter and save, go back, Peter is here. So if we go to our terminal in the to our terminal here in this tab, and we say cart students.txt, we shall see Doreen Nubs, and Peter is here. You know, Peter is there. And we can see all the details in that on the server now. You see, we have the index, all the 4 files are here. And if we go back here to our to our VS Code, we still have 4 files. So those are 2 ways of uploading and or deploying PHP apps to servers. If your PHP app had a database, like a relational database, probably you would need to upload SQL as well, you know. But since we've not yet reached there, we can consider that, you know what, for PHP apps that don't have SQL in them, this is how we would deploy them on both VPSs and shared servers. The process of uploading to Plesk is quite similar to the process of uploading to cPanel and other user interfacing panels. And the process of uploading via the terminal on DigitalOcean, Accountable, and many other VPS providers is the same, but of course it might be slightly different when it comes to using GCP, which is Google Cloud Platform, and AWS. So that's the end of this. tutorial, we shall look at more advanced ways in the future.